Welcome to this special Christmas episode of Skits and Quibbles with me, your host Jemma Gambrill. My co-host today is Judith Crosier, and all of us at Wellbeing Studio wish you a happy and a wonderful holiday season. We're really excited to have a special Christmas sing-along episode today, where I hope you'll join in with our virtual choir, who you'll remember from an earlier episode. But before that, join me on the main stage to get this show on the road with the first Noel. Thank you. Well, I'm warmed up. Are you? Let's join in with Ding Dong Merrily on High.
Ding dong merrily on high, in heaven the bells are ringing. Ding dong verily the sky is rimmed with angels singing.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that, and welcome to my co-host Judith.
Thanks, Gemma. You look lovely, really Christmassy.
Oh, thank you. So do you. You look lovely too.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a lovely time of year, isn't it?
I love Christmas.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite times of year.
Yeah. What do you love about it?
I just like the lights, the fact that people tend to get together.
Yeah.
And just, you know, you can places closed, you can tend to slow down for a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very good point. Are you ready for Christmas yet?
I don't think so. Are you?
No, I'm a very. If Christmas Eve is a working day, then I'm a Christmas Eve shopper.
I'm a Christmas Eve rapper.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Christmas morning.
Yes. Oh, yeah. My rapping goes.
I'm trying not to be. I try and beat my personal best every year and get earlier and earlier in rapping.
Well, sometimes I've been so late. It literally does go over into Christmas morning. I'm sitting there at midnight or whatever, and I think, oh, what's the point? People are going to be opening these in a couple of hours. But yeah, every year anyway, I still do it.
We're going to listen to another song now. It's back over to you, our lovely viewers, to join in with We Three Kings.
Field and fountain, moor
welcome back everyone. So, what's your favourite Christmas song?
Ooh, I've got a couple. I've got my favourite Christmas carol is Silent Night. I just love that. I really love it. But songs, I've got two. Can I say two?
You can say two. You can say three. They're four.
Well, I have got a few.
Hard to
I'll tell
pick.
you what I do love, and this isn't going to be one of them, but actually I love Mariah Carey, her Christmas song. I know it's very corny, but I just love it.
I do quite like that
Do
song,
you?
but it's every year. Like people are like, they want to freeze her because they're like, they play it all the time.
I
It's
know.
like when her song comes out, you know.
I know, but I just love it. It's very dancey and happy, and yeah, I really like that one. But I really love, because I love Queen anyway, so I really love Thank God It's Christmas. And in a different virtual choir, not this one, a different one, actually, we recorded it a few years ago, which was really fun.
That sounds quite fun.
It's nice. It's quite a mellow song for Queen, really. It's sort of a diversion away from their normal type songs, although they're quite diverse anyway. But I love the recent, relatively new song by Ed Sheeran and Elton John, Merry Christmas. I just love it. It's just so happy. Do you know it?
I don't know if I do.
I think it came out in 21 or 22.
I do know.
I'm sure you would if you heard it, but it's just a really happy song. I just love that. So that's my new favourite song. What about you?
Oh, I do really like Christmas carols. We used to go to my brother's school every year and sing Christmas. We'd have a little song sheet and little mince pies, and and I really enjoyed that every year. I do like singing carols, but then I do like listening to modern Christmas songs, Kelly Clarkson's song, and I do have a Christmas album that I like to listen to in my car.
Is it one of the Now Christmas albums?
Yeah. Although there is a radio station that constantly plays Christmas songs in December.
Really?
I think it's the 1st of December they hit the Christmas button and then they just play Christmas songs all the time. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I have to say, I do really like hearing Christmas songs in shops, but not in November, which is when they start earlier and earlier now.
November's a bit early.
Yeah,
December's all good.
Yeah.
But people put their Christmas lights up early. I've noticed as well now.
They do. I really love seeing the Christmas lights around, villages and through town centres and things.
Yeah.
And then when they're taken down, it looks really empty.
It looks really empty. It's like at home when you take your Christmas decorations down, then you have all that space.
Yeah.
But because we started a new tradition, we go out and see all the Christmas lights. We have a little drive to all the different areas, grab a coffee from Costa or other retailers are available, like Starbucks. And then we go and visit all the Christmas lights and have, some are huge.
That sounds a really lovely thing to do. Is that around all your local towns?
Around all the local towns, yeah. And I think my dad used to do that with us as kids.
Oh, okay. So you've kind of carried on that tradition.
Yeah, but we've only started doing it recently. So Jude and Ted, the conductor and director of today's virtual choir, sat down recently and had a chat. So let's take a look.
And welcome back to the show. We have Ted with us this morning. It's brilliant to see you, Ted. Welcome to Skits and Quibbles.
Thank you very much for asking me for being here, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. So Ted and I go back just over 4 years, we've just realised. And we met in person, 3 years ago?
2022 is the first time we met in person. So
2022, so a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And we've met a few times.
Quite a few times since that point, yeah.
Because as you can hear, Ted is not from the UK. Do you want to say a bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm actually from New Jersey. So it's always easy for me to fly to the UK. I've been, even earlier this year, in the past year, I've been actually doing choir concerts in Austria and Germany as well. So, and even Carnegie Hall, all gets mixed in there.
So we're really lucky that Ted was in the UK at the moment and could come and see us. So thank you for coming. So Christmas, what do you love about Christmas?
I like the sights and the sounds. I mean, I always like hearing Christmas music, Christmas carols, but at the same time, one of the biggest things I love are Christmas lights, especially the trees.
Me too.
So I love looking for Christmas lights. It always gives that festive feeling when it's dark out, and all of a sudden you see all that brightness, which gives you some hope that spring will eventually come back.
Oh, it makes you think of spring. That's interesting.
Yeah, but I just love that the contrast to bright, colorful lights, even just white lights versus the dark background.
Oh, it's just beautiful. Yeah. And then after Christmas, when all the houses take them down, and it just looks so dull everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
So.
Oh, wow. And do you go to lots of Christmas concerts?
Not as many as I would like to. I started doing that more recently. One thing that was a big issue with me, not an issue, a thing right after the pandemic, my first live performance was on December 21st, and it was a Christmas performance, and that's when I realized I had truly missed attending live performances versus that so much that had been pre-recorded on Zoom because of social distancing.
Yeah.
But it was like you just realize, you feel it emotionally, how it was great to actually attend a live performance instead.
Yeah, it's very different, isn't it? So apart from performing, what is it that you love about singing? Because you do a lot of it.
It's something I enjoy, but at the same time, I think when you do something that you enjoy, it makes you feel better inside, you feel happy. And that's a big part many people get from singing. They get that ability that they feel like that it's a lot of joy to them. And also, if you're in the right situation, you're able to provide that joy to many other people as well. So it's a great thing. And some people use it as a stress releaser as well.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's a lot of breathing techniques, and you don't realize when you're doing breathing like that, you're releasing a lot of tension at the same time.
Yeah, and it's not until you join a choir, or in our case, virtual choir, and we got a lot of professional teaching, really, that you learn how to breathe properly. And you think you just breathe, but it's not quite that simple. So it has a lot of health benefits as well as mental health benefits.
Oh,
as
yeah,
well.
it's a big, and I remember a lot of people saying, we're going back 4 years when we started these virtual choirs. Granted, most virtual choirs realistically started before the pandemic with Eric Whitaker with his virtual choirs, but they really got going in 2020. But a lot of people said they would not have been able to survive those periods of times if it had not been for virtual choirs. But everybody learned so much, and many people became much better performers or singers because of that.
Definitely, absolutely. So before the pandemic, going back to when did you start singing, and what brought you to singing? What made you start?
This is a weird story on that. During my elementary school, or here in the UK, primary school, I was singing, and I thought pretty much sure in my mind I was a good singer.
You are a good singer.
And my school actually had proper training. My school system as a whole was proper with the musical arts. There's actually a movie that I think it was nominated for a Grammy about the band from my high school.
Wow.
But from the choral side, I continued that to age 10. But then at that point, I actually had some dental surgery done, which prevented me from doing it for a year.
Oh, gosh.
And then my voice changed a year after, so I didn't sing. But at that point, they had such a high standards. Once I missed that much time, I couldn't come back in.
Oh, no.
So I actually did not sing in any choir until the virtual choir started in 2020.
So from the age of 10 until Gareth Malone's virtual choir? Yeah. I did not know that.
And a lot of that had to do with Gareth Malone, because I always I've known about Gareth Malone since about 2010. Yeah. For those in the U.S. who don't know, Gareth Malone is considered Great Britain's favorite choral master, but some of his earlier programs didn't make it to the United States, and I did see an advertisement for one of them, and it said, and it just looked wonderful what he was doing with getting people to introducing them to singing. Yeah. And so I always had this dream that he would do something that I could be part of. But then right before all the lockdowns happened in 2020, I saw a tweet from him saying something's big's about to come. And that's when he actually released the Great British Home Chorus with a major record label. And I'm like, I'm going to do that. It finally takes care of that dream after essentially 12 years. And then from that point, it just exploded on what I do on the singing.
It really has. So you were part of the virtual choir with 11,000 of us, apparently, and did some exciting things, recording, etc. So how did you go from that, which was essentially YouTube lessons every day for a number of weeks, to doing what you do now, which is running your own virtual choir?
I've always had the technical background to do it, and I also had suspicions on certain things, on the technical understandings about it. But then you and I, we both were in this one video to promote that Great British Home Chorus video, which was EP, which was released on Universal Decca's label. And at the very end, after that was released on the 21st of July of 2020, somebody, and it was a small group of us, and I've wanted to do this one, We Shall Overcome. And it was a song that was important at the time. And I couldn't ask the greater Great British Home Chorus community because there were 11,000 of them.
Yeah.
And I couldn't handle 11,000 people, much less even 100 people. But somebody asked on our last Zoom, what do we do next? And I go, well, funny you should ask. I got this. Let's do the We Shall Overcome. Gareth Malone had his own arrangement of it. I found out it was actually now in public domain after a court battle. And it's like, we have to do it. And that's what started it from that point on.
I'll never forget that process, because after this huge experience with Gareth Malone and with everybody in the Great British Home Chorus and the Great British Home Chorus friends, it was the end, and we did think, what now? What now? What are we going to do without singing? So you kind of then picked it up and ran with it on a much smaller scale, but it was fantastic for those of us that stayed with you.
It was a wonderful experience, and like I said, I just had this interest. I've always had interest in audio and video, and then the music aspect, I was able to continue on it. Some people just don't understand with Gareth Malone, because he's worked with so many people over the years, now more than a decade. He gets people started, but then it's up to them to continue on with their music experiences. And this was my way, one of my ways to continue with that experience.
Yes, and that's been his ethos all the way through, with all the choirs that he set up in different parts of the country. He sets it up and then leaves it, lets everyone get on with it, and he moves on. And that's essentially what he did with us as well. And we've carried that on, and you particularly, because you've orchestrated all the virtual choir videos and songs, which has been amazing. And also, it's great that Gareth Malone's given us his permission for We Shall Overcome to be performed, which is brilliant. So, and you did such a good job with it as well. It was really
my first
enjoyable.
One.
Yeah.
And I'm quite proud of how that one turned out.
You should be, because it's really great. So thank you for that, personally. So obviously there are benefits. We've touched on the physical health benefits of singing, and some of the mental health benefits of singing as well. What do you get from singing, and what do you get from running your own now virtual choir?
I get personal satisfaction. I mean, I have a YouTube channel separate from this, so I'm able to produce something that people will enjoy. That's a big thing, and this is a completely different subject than what my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is about trains. Yeah,
I was just thinking that.
Specifically, train doors closing, which became very popular during the pandemic.
It's very niche. But really compelling, actually. It's very, very, very relaxing to watch.
But this is on the art side. And so I was able to, the idea is to provide joy to a lot of people. And one of my top songs producing, the one that gets the most views from the virtual choir side is a Christmas song. So providing joy for people is a big part of it, as being a creator.
Well, exactly, and you really are extremely technical, because we know in your job and the trains, etc. And then this allows you to bring out your creative side and to bring creativity to others as well. Would you say that the same well-being benefits can be gained from a virtual choir as an in-person choir?
You will get some. I don't think it's going to be the same. Just over the past year now, I've been in 3 performances. My first actual in-person concert since I was 10 was November of 2023, and that was...
I did not know that, Ted. Oh my gosh.
Only a few people know that. And it was the world premiere of Sir Carl Jenkins' One World in Linz, Austria. So that was my introduction back to going with a major world premiere concert.
What
But-
a first performance
Yeah.
in X number of years to perform in, though. Wow.
And then go ahead 7 months. My second performance was in Carnegie Hall in New York City.
Yep.
So you're talking one of the top venues in the U.S., much less the world. And
You
then,
haven't done things by halves, that's
And then
for
this
sure.
year I also did Carl Jenkins' One World Again in Germany.
That was in the very warm July.
It was a very hot July. Yes.
Very hot July. Yes. Okay, and so thinking about your in-person performance, I mean, I know that some mutual choir members that we both know, and many of whom I've met in person because they're here, many of whom you hadn't met until those concerts. Would you say that meeting people that you've been singing with virtually kind of enhances the well-being factor of singing together?
Oh, yes, it does. Like I said, you get more benefits from in-person, but definitely virtual still helps fill that gap.
Yeah.
But meeting these people that you've known online for Zoom for the number of years,
Yes.
first of all, it's almost like you've known them all the time
Yeah.
anyway. So when you see them, it's not this big surprise like, oh yeah, that's right, I haven't met you ever. So it's wonderful, but you get to know people better. You can have more normal conversations. You don't have to worry about interrupting somebody on Zoom, or you can split up amongst different little groups. So it does help, and it is wonderful to meet so many people after all these years.
Yeah, no, that is a really special thing to me. I remember where I met you. Do you remember where we actually met for the first time? I'm putting you on the spot now.
I know it was in central London.
It was at King's Cross Station.
Oh, that's right. That's
yeah.
right.
And I think we kind of missed each other. So, but you're right. After the first split second of, oh my gosh, it's Ted, it is like, not that I've known you since the virtual choirs, but it's like I've always known you. And it's the same with every single person I've met from this virtual choir.
And what made a difference when I met you, you were the first person from the virtual choirs I actually met.
I did not know that.
You were the first person by like 30 minutes.
Oh, because Christine.
Christine came next, so
I feel honoured.
you were the first person I met.
That's
But
so
since
nice.
then, I've probably met a couple hundred of them.
Yeah, yes, especially with the other virtual choir
Yeah.
as well, with Stay at Home Choir. Yeah, a lot of people. They're so popular. And we also know a few people who don't ever go out, and so the well-being they get from virtual choirs is immense.
Yeah.
And obviously they haven't got the comparative experience of meeting people, but I know because I've spoken to them, and I know you have, that they get a huge amount of being part of a virtual choir, even though it's virtual.
Some people are just isolated from, they don't have the ability to have choirs or to be in a choir, whether it's, sometimes it might be a physical health issue that prevents them from getting out. That's a big issue. This provides them that sense of community and a sense of being with a group overall.
Yeah, and you definitely do get that sense as well, even though it's virtual. So back to Christmas, because it's not long now. How have you been choosing the Christmas songs that you've been producing over the last few years?
I always go for something, a song always gets in my mind, and that's how we go. The very first one I picked is because I was trying to find a learning track, and I know somebody who has created one for their school.
Okay.
And so that was Silent Night.
Oh, that was a beautiful
But that
one.
was made specifically, that was rearranged for us specifically.
Was it?
Yeah, the order of it was specifically for us, especially the German coming after the English. And
Oh, yes. We had a little German lesson to
yes,
learn that one.
Thank you for
didn't
that. The Austrians actually said we nailed it.
we? Oh,
This-
I'm really pleased about that.
And so that was picking up. So that was it was one of the solemn times, because here in the UK, they were going back to the second lockdown. US, we did not have that. So, it was a little bit of a down time. So the following year for Christmas, I wanted something bright, much more brighter. So now I'm going more solemn, bright, solemn, bright. So I'm now choosing going every other year. But it's always what's in my head, what pops up every once in a while. And the thing is, there's so many things I can choose from any particular year.
Yeah, and if something's in your head already, that's good, because you're just kind of then expanding on what's already there. You're not starting from cold, as it were. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting process you go through. It's lovely to get this insight, actually, because although we've talked loads about stuff, I don't know
There is a process.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So what song is the choir about to perform next?
We're going to actually do the one that first one I put together for Great British Home Chorus Friends, which was We Shall Overcome.
Lovely. And here is We Shall Overcome, performed by the Great British Home Chorus Friends virtual choir, arranged by Gareth Malone.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We shall all be free. We shall all be free. We shall all be free someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday.
It's that time of year again. Dark afternoons, candles lit, and the house smells of mulled wine and pine needles and freshly baked Christmas cookies. Popular amongst most kids, dreaded by many adults. Christmas parties everywhere, at work, at every organization or club where I'm a member at. Christmas parties at friends and family. It can be a very, very busy time and also a bit overwhelming. The solution? Book a holiday and go far, far, far away. Or it's time to introduce my rule number 1. Stay chilled and mindful through the Christmas and festive season. Focus on managing expectations. Don't pressure yourself and have to have the perfect Christmas. Usually one or little two things go wrong anyway. Set boundaries. Dare to say no if it's an engagement or a commitment which is just too much or too overwhelming for you. Set aside time for self-care. Maintain healthy habits, enough sleep and exercise. Set time aside for yourself for practicing mindfulness. Have some meditations, some muscle relaxation, just to stay focused in the moment and actually enjoy the moment and not always think already ahead, what do I have to do next? Just be in the moment. Practice gratitude and focus on everything you can be grateful and thankful for in your life. Reach out to loved ones if you are feeling slightly overwhelmed or you feel you're struggling. Of course, you can reach out to a therapist and seek professional help if you're really struggling and significantly feeling anxious or depressed during the festive season. With all that said, I'm wishing you all a happy, peaceful, safe and mindful Christmas.
Welcome back to this special Christmas episode of Skits and Quibbles. So I'm going to sing another song now for you, and that is Away in a Manger.
Away in a manger, no crib for a bed, the little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet head. The stars in the bright sky looked down where he lay, the little Lord Jesus asleep on the hay. The cattle are lowing, the baby awakes, but little Lord Jesus no crying he makes. I love you, Lord Jesus, look down from the sky and stay by my side until morning is nigh.
I'm Dr. Audrey Tang, a chartered psychologist, and on my show Mental Health Matters, we take a deep dive into all things mental health and wellbeing with the experts. So join us at 8 a.m. PST on Thursdays on the Fresh Takes channel, because mental health matters on E360 TV.
A world without the arts is one without confidence, creativity and community, and yet funding has been reduced every year. Arts programmes have been shown to benefit social inclusion and well-being, particularly for marginalised groups, with projects fostering a sense of belonging, cultivating mutual understanding and breaking down social barriers and isolation. Participation in arts programmes can help boost confidence and open doors to opportunities that may otherwise be inaccessible. Click Arts Foundation offers grants up to £2,000 for grassroots arts projects twice a year, with our Community Arts Experience trustees meticulously scoring each project on impact and sustainability. To date, we have supported craft and visual arts projects, dance, drumming for wellbeing, and preservation of heritage and culture. If you share our passion, not just for maintaining the arts themselves, but contributing to the many benefits it can bring, please consider making a donation to Click Arts Foundation registered charity.
Welcome back. So we have virtual choirs. Where else can we go to sing at Christmas?
I think one of the main places would be to sing carols. There's loads and loads of carol services and carol concerts around. So local churches, village halls, there's often carol concerts
some villages
around.
I think do carols like in the centre, like if they have like a little village square. I know some places do carol services outside
around the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So a couple of villages near me, they have an event of lighting the Christmas tree and then singing carols around the Christmas tree, which is really, really nice. So it's just just keeping a lookout really, but especially in London and other cities and towns, they'll quite often advertise big Christmas carol concerts.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Exactly, it's just a case of looking out really. And there's lots of events, and also a lot of in-person choirs will have performances, not necessarily that the audience can join in, but but probably some do as well.
That'd be nice.
There's all sorts of singing things going on this time of year.
So what about, I don't know, do you struggle with anything when it comes to singing?
I do. I mean, you know, I can sing along to a tune, I can harmonise, but I'm not the most brilliant singer. I really wish I could sing as well as you. You've got such a beautiful voice, and there's so many people with really lovely voices. So I kind of struggle with that. It's annoying to me because I love singing so much that I don't have like an amazing voice. But that just is what it is, really. And I've taken some lessons to try and improve on certain aspects. But something I really struggle with is remembering the words.
Definitely remembering the words. Or you think you know the words, and then when you go to say it, that's not the words.
No, exactly. And sometimes when we've learned in in-person choirs or virtual choirs, when we've learned contemporary songs, and you sing along to it on the radio, etc. And then when you actually get the proper lyrics, you think, oh, that's not the right word I've been singing at all. And then you have to relearn it. So that's quite funny.
I think with harmonies and stuff, I think sometimes it is difficult to pick up a harmony. But if someone taught you the harmony,
yes,
and then I think it's easier to sing it, because sometimes it is hard to pick it out. And
it is, and that's the good thing. That's the kind of the benefit of virtual choirs, because you're just learning your own part. So if you're not an alto or soprano, generally you're harmonising. Occasionally, we tenors will get the harmony, which is really nice. But so you're just learning, and generally you learn that listening to someone in your ear, kind of singing, and you've laid down guide tracks for people to learn from as well. So, you have been that person that we've sung along with, which is really nice. And then that's more difficult in an in-person choir, and especially if you're
standing next to someone and they're singing a different
part
to what you're singing.
Exactly. So so that can be a real struggle, because then if you're halfway between, say, a tenor and an alto, you kind of veer between the two. Well, that's the danger anyway.
Yeah. So do you like singing solo or with other people?
No. I can't say I haven't done it. I have done a couple of lines in a performance we did with a virtual choir when we came together for a real life performance, and they asked me to sing a couple of lines, which was the most frightening thing I've ever done in my life. So I have done it, but I wouldn't choose to do it, and I haven't done it since. So, but again, I know that you really love to do that, and people can see and hear that you're fabulous at it. You are really blessed.
I don't really like singing in front of people.
Do you not? So like if there's an audience?
If there's an audience, I get really nervous.
Do you?
Yeah, more nervous, because when you're on your own, you're quite vulnerable. Whereas when you sing with a group of people, you blend in.
Yes.
And so I quite like that. I don't mind like the short bursts on my own if I'm in a group of people. When you're on your own and you're just singing on your own, I do.
I suppose
get quite nervous with that.
Yeah, you're kind of out there on your own, literally. But when you've got the kind of voice that you've got, you can carry that off. You can go with it, and it just sounds glorious. So
Thank you. I can't hear what I sound like.
Oh, well, trust me, she sounds amazing. So don't ever worry about that. You sound great. I've seen you in a live performance before, and it was brilliant. It was the song from The Greatest Showman.
I like that song.
Yeah.
I do like that song.
It was so good.
If I think I know the song, I'm more confident. If I don't know the song, it's like you say, and I'm not sure of the words, then that makes me really nervous. If I really know the song, then I'm more comfortable.
Yeah. That makes sense if it's a new song.
So I guess it depends on the song how comfortable I feel singing it on my own.
Yeah. Something like A Christmas Carol that you've probably sung 100 times or more since you were a child.
Even those you think you know the words, and then you do, and then you realise that they're not the words.
Especially when you're singing in a different language.
When you get it, it's okay. It's not a language that I know, although I did go there on holiday this year, so I picked up a little bit of the language.
That obviously helped.
But yeah, when you don't know the language and it's not your you don't naturally speak that language, it can be difficult to know how to pronounce the words and things.
The pronunciation, I think a lot of people watching will probably be part of choirs and have sung in different languages. So, yeah, I wonder how people cope with that.
Yeah, I think, drop us a comment down below and let us know how you do that. Well, why don't we go back to your chat with Ted and we'll see how to overcome some of those fears.
Welcome back to this really special Christmas episode where we have Ted with us talking about virtual choirs. What's your favourite Christmas meal and why?
That's one thing that's interesting because in the what we have for Christmas in the US is different than in the UK, because in the UK you have a turkey dinner. Well, we do that a month earlier for Thanksgiving, so we have choices. Oh, one of my favorite was actually dried aged roast beef, and that was an unbelievable one. But you can do anything. We can do. I tend to have more ham. I would like turkey, but I'm turkeyed out by that point. But I love turkey stuffing. But then, of course, there's always mashed potatoes. Yeah, that has to be in there. And then we have some weird things that can always get introduced in the U.S. for foods with sides, and that could be very regional.
Can I ask something? Because they always say this on Christmas films, Christmas movies. Do you have yams?
Yes, yams, which realistically we don't get true yams anymore. It's like more candied sweet potatoes. Most people don't know that. Most people don't know that.
I didn't know what they were.
They're very much like sweet potatoes.
Okay, thank you. And you actually have those?
Oh, yeah, I've had that,
Oh, very nice. Okay, so
choices.
what would be your favourite meal to have at Christmas time? And do you have your Christmas meal Christmas Eve or Christmas Day?
And this is always everybody's different preference, but I do a Christmas Day.
Okay. Yeah, so similar to us, whereas in Europe it's like more Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But I've done everything, and one of my newer favorite traditions is Christmas pudding.
Oh, do you not normally have that in America?
It's harder to find.
Okay.
And I can't find the bowl to make it. Or if you go online, you realize I'm not going to pay $50 for something like that.
Yeah, well, no.
Though I did find apparently last year I did have some of the best ever.
Oh, really? Well, just ask me. I'll send you one if you want. If you can't find one. I thought you were going to say your Christmas speciality is a barbecue, because we quite often see photos of Ted's barbecue, even on freezing cold and rainy days. So is that a thing, Christmas barbecue?
I don't, but if you go to places like in Texas, I do Central Texas barbecue with offset smokers. That's something they will definitely do. They'll even do turkey with an offset smoker. So they put that. Yeah, that's an option. I know a friend who definitely does serious barbecue for Christmas.
Very nice too. It's different.
Yeah.
Oh, I might try that one. Yeah. So going back to singing, then singing and eating, does it mix? Should you leave, like swimming, should you leave at a certain time after eating before you sing? Does it inhibit your breathing, for example?
Yeah. First, I'm not a music professional, and if you ever have problems with your voice, always seek medical attention to address it. But each person's going to be different. But even if it's after a Christmas dinner or Christmas lunch, do you really want to sing? That becomes the big thing, because if it's turkey and stuffing, what do you want to do? You want to take a nice nap in the end. But each person is going to be different, and depends on what you ate as well and how much you ate, on how it affects your singing. But if it's like a family singing around a piano, you probably don't need much, because you're not trying necessarily to sound good.
Well, that is true. That is true. So before a choir performance, maybe have a light snack.
Yeah.
And then, kind of go for it afterwards, maybe.
Yeah, I've learned what to avoid. For me, it's personally dairy. Other people don't have that issue. But I've also I only found this out when I did the Carl Jenkins concert in Germany. A nice salad with a vinaigrette dressing is perfect.
Wow,
for me. That's for me, though. Other people, they might have issue.
Yeah, well, that sounds good to me as well. I think that's kind of the line I would go down. But yeah, I know that dairy is to be avoided, if at all possible.
But apparently they are saying scientifically they haven't found a cause, but a lot of people do have issues with dairy.
Yeah, yes. And personally, I would, especially cheese.
Oh yeah, and I love cheese.
Things. Yeah.
Each person has to find what works and what does not work for them.
Exactly. But basically you're saying maybe lighter meals before singing.
You don't want to be too full.
I'd agree. Yes, it just makes you feel uncomfortable anyway, and you want to feel tall and...
And it does affect your breathing.
Yeah.
That's at least with me, because if you fill up your belly too much, because you really do sing from down low, you need your stomach to expand for your lungs to actually move down in there. For if you fill up your belly, you're losing that ability to get good breathing techniques.
Yeah, so that's the kind of scientific fact, really.
Yeah.
It just depends on, some people might be affected differently by different foods. But yeah, I think a light salad, avoid cheese, perfect. Winning combination. That's what I think. So some people have a fear of singing. And that can really, that affects your voice, it makes your throat tighten up, it affects how you project. Would you have any tips on how to maybe address the fear, even if you can't combat it?
That always becomes an interesting thing, because believe it or not, I actually have a slight fear of singing, but my fear is solo singing with other people hearing. So
Okay.
I do choral singing where you're with other people, so you blend together. So when it comes to choral or any choir as a whole, larger choirs, if somebody has a fear, the key is, you're blending in with everybody else, and they're probably making little mistakes just like you are, but they're different. So you bridge over each other, and it sounds perfect in the end. So with me, if I have this fear, I come across this one TikTok YouTube person in New York City, if I ever come across, my fear is that he would want me to sing with him. And that's what his goal is, to get people to sing so they feel better on it. That's a huge fear of mine. But I have no problem singing in a choir with an audience over 1,000 people. No problem whatsoever. So it's just this weird thing. But with people with that fear, if they're able to have a community choir, it's a good thing to get into, because you're going to blend together. You're not professionals. There's only so many Taylor Swifts in the world, and there aren't many of them. So that has a big effect on it. Community choirs can be a big benefit if you're able to. If not, then there are plenty of virtual choirs out there still.
Yeah.
There's one that is actually free that people join in on every Friday as well, just to sing along. So it always gives you still get that sense of community by just singing along to something that's on a video.
Is that the collective?
Actually, home choir.
Oh, the home choir.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, that might be a good one to check out. There was also the collective. I'm not sure if that's free, but
I don't think it is. No.
That's very active.
Yeah.
I know that, yeah.
But a lot of it's the same people. There's some people I call virtual chorus professional. I forget the word. I had a phrase. They're almost like junkies. You'll see any virtual choir video, you'll see the same certain people. You'll show up in every video.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Going back to fear. Obviously, the more you do it, in theory, the less
easier.
afraid you get. But so you said, and I didn't know this as well, that you were you have a fear of singing solo. Yeah. Because obviously I've seen quite a lot of your videos where you sing all the different parts and then you put them together virtually. So effectively that's you four times solo. Mm-hmm. So that you're okay with, but it's performing in person. It's because,
I had put on Facebook, what's more of me sounds better than one. If you listen to each individual recording, there is something not right. But there might be 9 recordings of me, and you don't hear any of those little flaws. So it's the same thing with a choir. Somebody else is going to bridge over you.
And yes, and all the voices blend together.
It all blends
really
together
lovely.
nicely, yeah.
But I think Ted's being overly harsh. He has a really good voice, really, really good voice. So I'll just say that because you won't.
Everybody thinks they have a bad voice.
That is true.
That's actually an important part. Everybody thinks they're a horrible singer when they're not.
Yeah, that is true. And on that, if people find it tricky with the tuning, the pitching, can people learn to improve that? And even if they're so-called tone deaf, so they can't pitch at all. I have a friend like that, bless him. When he sings, it sounds as though he's singing all the right notes. But he isn't, and he can't hear that himself. So is it possible to correct that, address it?
For some people, I would say a very small minority, probably not. There are some people that are truly tone deaf, but most people, it's more of awareness. If they hear their own recordings, one thing I did once, I actually had it so I was recording something, but I also was having my microphone feed back into my ears so I could hear if I was off. And that's one way, is if you can actually hear what you're actually singing live, it is a good way to do it. It's like if it's people are used to older phones, when you're, these days, those old days, you could actually always hear yourself.
Yes.
That's why we didn't shout on the phone before, because you can always hear yourself.
Interesting.
But that you can hear what your voice is, and you can realize, oh, I'm off here. But in a real choir, when you get in that situation, you hear what the other person is doing. So if you're off in something, you readjust. Because when I was doing the Carl Jenkins concert in Germany, we actually had professional choral singers next to us. It was part of the amateur part. But if all of a sudden you would hear them do something, it's like, aha, I can do that. So you can always learn from your neighbors.
So even if you think, oh, I'm not sure if I'm quite in tune, you can kind of tune into the people that definitely are.
Yeah.
And that will help. But obviously singing lessons help. But they tend to help with quality.
They help with quality, sometimes with that, but they can be expensive, so some people have that issue.
That's true. But you're saying, so some people who are completely tone deaf may never learn to be able to sing.
But at the same time, people shouldn't be discouraged from singing, because I've heard stories about people saying, oh, don't sing in a choir, because they're not perfect. And it seriously causes people issues, confidence issues.
Yes.
And I know people have come back through virtual choirs to singing, and they are actually quite good singers.
Yeah, and ultimately, singing is a joy, and whether somebody can hit the notes or not, it doesn't really matter, because it does make you feel so much better.
Yeah.
You know, if you're down and you do a little jig around the kitchen and sing at the top of your voice, that's just one of the best things ever. So it doesn't really matter. But obviously, if you're putting together a professional recording or something else, then that might
That's
cause
different,
issues.
and most of us aren't.
No, most of us aren't, exactly, so it doesn't really matter. What might be some common singing or breathing mistakes that people might make?
One of the biggest mistakes a lot of singers, or amateur singers, do is breathing. And the main thing is that they take a breath and it's like,
Yes.
and that immediately brings tension right here, and then nothing's going to come out right. You do have to breathe relaxed, find the right time, so you can't gasp for air. When I did the concert in Germany with Carl Jenkins, I did that once, and boy, did I feel it in just that one breath. So you have to, it's a control. You don't want to hear it. You basically like breathe in, barely audible. I made it slightly louder then, so you can hear it. But it's just the idea. It's like, and kind of smile. It helps. And you don't hear it, but you're relaxed when you take that breath. It helps a lot. You just don't want to gasp for air, because you'll just get super tense, and then any note that comes out after tense, you hear it.
That's true. And also, I didn't realise until Gareth Malone started his virtual teaching all those years ago that, I was breathing from here.
Yeah.
But you have to breathe from here, and he used to say, engage your stomach muscles, and I used to think, what does that mean? How do you do that? But obviously you learn how to do that, and that gives you twice as or more breath to actually then sing, and it comes out a much nicer quality as well.
That's one thing I really wish I had learned. I mean, I learned it through Great British Home Chorus, but primarily the people who taught me how to do some good breathing we were both introduced to were Tori Longden and Jamie Wright, and they did this one exercise with GBHC on breathing.
Yes.
And I still do it to this day because it's so useful. It was basically just breathe in for like 4, then breathe out on this, then breathe in like that. But I wish I had known earlier about that, so I can really get these long passages through. And it's really useful.
It's really useful to control your breathing.
Yeah.
It just teaches you how to do it properly.
And it becomes instinctive after that.
Exactly. The more you do it, the more natural it is to do it. So other than breathing, are there any other good exercises that a singer and a choir can practice?
Always a good warm-up.
Yes.
Start softly. A physical warm-up is always important to do. You have to warm up your body, then your voice. because if you once you remove all that tension, you can sing better. But then you just have to slowly warm up the voice. You don't want to go to something that's belting loud. But yes, moving up. A lot of people, more modern people say, you don't want to just run the scales. It gets boring. So there are lots of fun ways. That's one thing Gareth Malone taught us. There are a lot of fun ways to warm up, and there are different techniques, and you always have to change it up so you keep the excitement there.
That's right, all the tongue twisters and all the different warm-up songs. I still remember them all.
Yeah, like your dog is a good dog.
Exactly, yeah, there's lots. And obviously physical, rolling your shoulders and your neck and just gently stretching.
And it's
all
always,
of that can help.
It's very much gentle because you definitely don't want to hurt yourself. You have to know what your physical ability, what your abilities are.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's next for you and your choir?
So the last thing I did this year is going to be the Christmas project, obviously, and it came upon a midnight clear, but it's the American version.
Yes.
I figured I got tortured singing the British version last year at a concert here in London. Now the British people get to sing the American version.
Fantastic, and a great experience it was. So thank you for that. That's brilliant. So just if you could just introduce the next song that we're about to play. It's not a Christmas song, and it's one that was arranged by a mutual friend of ours and edited by yourself. So do you want to introduce that one?
The next song is Oh Whaley Whaley, which is probably the hardest edit I've ever done because it's 100 plus singers that are involved in it.
Oh, down in the meadows the
Are you a change agent? You're going to love the Superpowers for Good show. I'm Devin Thorpe. Every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 11 Eastern, I host an inspiring changemaker on Achieve TV. Join us right here on E360 TV.
Hi everyone, it's Linzi from Linzi Loves to Organise. Merry Christmas everybody. So I thought I would just give you a couple of Christmas tips to help you along the way. So first of all, I would say with presents, when it comes to buying presents, really think about whether the person is going to use that present, if they're going to appreciate that present, and also if they've got room for that present. So I know, especially with toys, people get really excited about buying these amazing presents, and yes, they're great, but do the parents have space to store them? If the answer is no, then don't buy them. So I would consider buying experiences and things like that. You could be creative and make your own, maybe make an afternoon tea at home and invite your family around and just make it extra special. Things like this will be much more memorable, especially to children, than whatever they receive for Christmas. So really consider that, and it cuts the clutter down as well. The other thing I would say is with Christmas decorations, I can't wait to get my Christmas decorations up. So 1st of December, my Christmas decorations, up they go. But by the 27th of December, I can't stand them anymore. I'm fed up with the clutter of them and I have to put them away. So my tip for putting your decorations away is with your Christmas lights, you need to wrap them so that when you come to get them out next year, it's going to be much easier. So I would say you could get yourself a strong bit of cardboard and just wrap the lights round and round, or you can buy like purpose cable carriers that you can do that. You'll thank yourself next year. So that's my Christmas tips. Have a great Christmas, everybody, an organised Christmas and a happy, tidy New Year to you all. Merry Christmas!
Right, Gemma, so we're challenging you to the Great Dream game. Are you up for it?
Yeah,
Good.
I've done this before.
Good. I'll quickly explain.
Okay.
So there are 10 categories of 10 keys to happier living, and the 10 categories. So I will read out just the one word kind of title of that category, and then if you give quick answers on how you fulfill those.
Okay.
So how you relate, how you fulfill giving, for example.
Okay.
So what you do to kind of fulfill that one there. And then we have a leaderboard there. So your name is ready and waiting at the bottom, and you'll have a minute to do that. So a minute to get through all 10. So as soon as you've given your first answer, I'll then read out the next one.
Okay.
And then we'll start from there.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, ready? I shall get this ready. And as soon as I turn it over, I'll say the first one.
Right.
Giving.
I will get my dad things when I go shopping, take the kids taxi riding them places.
Relating.
Being social with people, going out for dinner.
Exercising.
I do go to the gym and play netball.
Appreciating.
Just being grateful for being here every day.
Trying out.
Well, this is fairly new, hosting this show.
Direction.
I like to try and book a holiday or a short break.
Resilience.
Look forward to. Learn from things that have gone wrong and not dwell on them too much.
Emotion.
Try and be happy. Put that on everybody else.
Acceptance.
Working on that. I'm kind of okay with. It's just want to lose a bit of weight.
And meaning.
I'm a trustee for a charity.
Yeah! Yeah! Well done. Amazing. So you did the whole Great Dream.
Yes.
And you will go on the leaderboard.
Excellent.
Can you hold the
Yes. Oh, you want me to hold
that for me? So Gemma will go. I'll write it on. She'll go up here with everyone else that achieved it. So
Yay.
there she is. Brilliant. Well done.
Okay. So we could do you and do a Christmas themed Great Dream.
Ah, okay.
Right, we're going to swap places and you're going to do the Christmas Great Dream. Right, ready? Okay.
I think so.
Let's go. Giving.
Christmas presents to friends and family.
Relating.
With a choir, a Christmas concert.
Exercising.
I walk every day with my dog.
Appreciating?
I appreciate seeing friends and family more around Christmas time.
Trying out?
I've started a new type of dance.
Oh, lovely. Direction?
I am slightly changing my other work goals and working towards those now.
Resilience?
Linked into changing my other work goals, I'm trying something different.
Emotion?
Just really, really happy and calm at Christmas.
Acceptance?
Like you, I'm working on it, doing a bit of a personal goal.
And meaning?
Christmas has a lot of meaning, especially in terms of meeting other people and being with the people you love.
Yes!
Did I do it?
Time to spare!
Oh! Amazing. I didn't think I was going to get through that.
But now I am going to sing another song for you, and I'm going to sing, in another language, Oh Christmas Tree.
Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, how lovely are your branches. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, how lovely are your branches. Not only green in summer's heat, but also winter snow and sleet. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, how lovely are your branches. Oh Tannenbaum, resplendent notte. Oh Tannenbaum, resplendent notte. Le luci tu scintillano, come la stella brillano. Oh Tannenbaum, resplendent notte.
Well, that was fun.
It was fun. It makes you think, doesn't it, as well?
It does, and you're like...
I know, and they're sort of quite standard questions, but you have to think, oh, it's against the clock.
It is
as
really
well.
hard
It's
to think
pressure.
against the clock. But you did mention about changing your career and starting new things. So I was thinking, like, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
I do have a couple. So one is along the work lines. It's a kind of a change in progress. So that to continue that. So I end up doing something. I mean, obviously this I absolutely love, but it's something entirely different. So that's kind of a work in progress, which I'm going to continue. The other resolution is to do a lot more cycling, because I bought myself a bike and I didn't really use it much this year at all. But I want to work towards doing a really, really long cycle along a path that spans a few hundred miles. I don't know if I'll do it all.
Oh,
but
where's the path?
It goes from Dorset and it kind of goes diagonally from the southwest to East Anglia. So it goes across the country.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, it's called the Chalk Way.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so that's a huge, big deal, but that's what I really, really want to do.
Yeah, I think I'd like a bike. I threw my
Come with me.
childhood bike out.
Oh no! I'll get another one. They're great.
Yeah,
fun.
we can go together.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Let's do it.
That's
Let's
going to be
train.
my New Year's resolution.
Oh, there
too.
we go then. That's Jemma sorted. Perfect. What's yours then? Have you got any?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it matters when you make a New Year's resolution. It doesn't have to be a new year. You can start anything new or make a resolution any time of year. Because I think if you want to start something new, I think you can start that any time. And I think, you don't have to wait for the new year to come around to start things. It's like when people say, oh, I'm going to do a diet, I'm going to start from Monday, I'm going to start from...
Yes.
I think there is a lot of pressure.
So do we think that setting a date and a time effectively is putting too much pressure? Do you think that may be why some people break their resolutions, or
yeah,
what do you think?
I do wonder that, because I mean, I don't know what you guys watching think. Like, you know, you can let us know.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if there's too much pressure, and then you think, oh well, I'll wait till next year now, because you've set that date and you haven't achieved what you wanted to do.
Yes, it's like saying, as you mentioned once before about, oh, I'll start a diet on Monday, and then if you don't, oh, I'll wait till next Monday, and then it can never happen.
But actually it doesn't have to be a Monday.
No.
You can, and I've seen a lot of things recently about, you know, if you were dieting and, you know, you eat one bad thing, you know, it doesn't ruin the rest of the day.
Yeah.
It's not, and I think we need to get out of that habit of, oh, I've done one thing that's not gone to plan, so I can't do the whole thing now, or
exactly it's putting that pressure, and if you veer off it slightly, you can just veer back on again and keep going, rather than thinking, oh no, I've ruined it, oh, there's no point carrying on.
I think maybe it's good to say, oh, I'm going to set a goal of this is what I'm going to do, and re-looking at it a different way.
Yes, and making a goal, you know, the something that you aspire to, rather than something I have to do by this amount of time. I wonder what people do at home. How do you set goals, and how do you kind of stay on the right path? And what do you do if you veer off that path? Because we're only human, so I'm saying I'm going to do this cycle. Well, that does put some pressure, because I'm thinking, oh, well, I have to train because I have to, you know, and I have to get this far. But actually, if I just did 10 miles of it, well, that's better than what I did last year.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's knowing not to worry about if a resolution is broken. It can always be started again.
Yeah,
I think.
So, apart from your cycling, what other plans do you have for 2025?
I think a better, and I know that a lot of people probably have this resolution as well, to have a better work-life balance, or just life balance. It's really
important, isn't it?
It's so important, and I think the older I get, the more I realise how important it is that there isn't always going to be the time to do that. You know, now is the time to do that, whatever it might be. Go on holiday, or tidy the garden.
Seize the day.
Seize the day, exactly right. So I think a sort of a broad, that's my broad aim. Is that kind of where you're thinking as well, or have you got something? Have you got specific plans for next year?
No, nothing specific.
More singing?
Possibly. Depends what comes up.
Yeah.
Do have a holiday booked.
Oh, good. Where are you going?
To the Norwegian fjords. Somewhere I've always wanted to go, on a cruise.
Amazing.
So I do want to try and, like I said before, in the Great Dream, book things to look forward to, make plans, just because time just goes so quickly.
It does.
And you don't know what's around the corner.
No, absolutely.
But then at the same time, you don't want to burn out by doing too much and not having that balance.
Yeah.
Of relaxing for you as well.
Yeah, and it is all a balance, isn't it? Planning things to look forward to, things that we have to do. You know, we have to go to work if we're not lucky enough to not work. And we have to see family, and we want to see friends, and we have other responsibilities. It is a real balance.
And you need to work sometimes to be able to do those things.
Yeah, exactly right. And, what if we can't do everything that we've planned to do? What if we've got all these targets and we can't do it? How can we not beat ourselves up?
Yeah, I think it is about not putting pressure. I mean, I can't talk, because when I say, I think, oh, I need to do this, this and this today, or this, and this week, if I don't do those things, I then start thinking, oh, I still need to do all these things, and I try and cram it all into one day. But if someone else was like that, I'd be like, don't worry about it. Don't put pressure on yourself. You know, something as simple as like, I don't know, hoovering. Oh, I haven't hoovered yet. Oh, now I've got a hoover everywhere. And it's like,
yeah.
Does it matter if you didn't do it one day?
No, it really doesn't matter. The housework will always be there till tomorrow.
But it is that pressure. Yeah. Because you've set these things, but because also, whereas don't put too much pressure on yourself, there is also there's always tomorrow.
Yes.
So you've got to be careful of there's always tomorrow and leaving things.
Yeah. Again, we come back to balance. But I think you're right. You know, it's easy to put a lot of pressure on yourself, and I wonder how people kind of manage that. You know, creating that balance for themselves, doing everything that you have to do, doing everything that you want to do, and still having space and not filling up every single second of your day.
Yeah.
And you know, you mentioned that you sort of panic if you don't get something done, and well, I think we are really hard on ourselves, and especially at Christmas, because there's so much extra to do.
Because actually, what if we just want to have a quiet Christmas?
Yeah.
How do we deal with that? How do you at home deal with that? Put in the comments below.
I wonder if, you know, some people must have the big family Christmas every year, or lots of friends around, and you know, there's the pressure to get the perfect dinner and the perfect day and the perfect presents. What if one year you just go, I don't want anyone in my house this Christmas? How do we manage that?
You don't have to. And actually, one year we didn't think we'd be able to get a turkey, and I was like, if we're having pizza Christmas Day, we're having pizza Christmas Day. I'm not going to rush around all the shops looking for a turkey.
No.
We'll just have whatever food's there.
Yeah, because ultimately it's just being with people if you want to be with people, and if you don't want to be with people, then
you don't have to be with people.
No. Well, two of my favourite Christmases in the last few years were just literally being by myself, because that's what I chose to do on that day. And I appreciate there's some people who are on their own and they don't necessarily want to be, and I know some people that volunteer.
Yes,
so
that's
just to be amongst people and do something nice on that day. And ultimately, it can be a pressure Christmas Day.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be. I think, you know, a lot of people I know say it's just another day. That's it.
Yeah. So I think you need to do what you want to do.
Yes, exactly. Exactly right.
Yeah. So, however you all want to spend your Christmas, we hope you do, and we hope you have a wonderful time. Thank you for joining us today.